Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back. We have yet another lovely day. Two more sets to cast. Jabari, how you feeling?
Pretty good, man. I see we've got a ton of Rex in the Discord. It looks like we'll be able to cast 2 sets a night for a few nights in a row here.
Yeah, big round of 32, plus the round of 64 games as well. The round of 32 games weren't due yet. Deadline's actually next Sunday, but people have submitted them, so we will continue. It's actually kind of nice for us. We don't have like 16 sets to do one weekend kind of deal. So first set though, Dap Warner versus Dioraja. Civs and maps are on the screen here. Dap Warner going for Celts, Franks, Japanese, Goths. Dioraja with Khmer, Bulgarians, Berbers, and Brazilians. So
Yeah. And I think this guy's Dioraja, man. I think it's Spanish.
that probably makes sense. But
Yep.
you know me in pronunciation. They're never good. I apologize if I am wrong. Uh I'll probably end up just calling him Dio, to be honest.
Cool, cool. I'm more inclined to call him Roja personally, but yeah, Dioraja, let's just go for it.
Alright. But best of three, round of 32 for these guys. We're gonna dive in. Jabari, I am ready when you are.
Alright, count it down.
Three, two, one. Right. We have Dio over here in the gray with the Berbers on Arabia. Has a pretty good looking map. Golds are both a little forward, but overall, I like it. And on the other side, Dap Warner here in the yellow with the Franks. So Franks gonna have a tough matchup here going up against the Berbers.
You think so? Is that because just like Berber camels you think are a nice counter unit?
Yeah, they're cheaper as well. I mean, obviously the extra HP is gonna be nice for Franks at the beginning here, but that only lasts for so long. And with Berbers being so cheap and they have the counter units, I definitely prefer the Berber situation here.
Yeah, probably makes sense. I guess I never pick either of these civs myself, so I'm not specifically familiar with the matchup. But yeah, I guess Berber's having the discount on the unit that best counters the Frank specialty unit makes them a pretty natural counter civ.
Yeah, and it's hard for Franks up against a few civs, and I feel like Indians and Berbers are probably two best equipped to handle Franks with the counters. I mean, not only that, but Berbers, if they decide to, could go camel archers down the road, and that would also counter quite well for the Franks. But we'll see. We do have Theo pushing in the hunt as he's found that. The other side, like we just have the monkey doing some exploration here for Dap.
Yep, and I think both players' maps look pretty acceptable. I guess I prefer Daps with that nice, safe back gold, real easy wall off to the TC. But Dio does have, I guess, his third gold pile in a kind of wallably safe position. So he's definitely not totally screwed if he wants to try and take gold behind walls.
Yeah, I mean, he does have this awkward hill in the front of his base, but honestly, if he can wall it up, I think it's a little bit easier to wall up this map and still have safe res. Berries are also very, very safe here, which is nice. Can't complain about the berry position. Frank Berry is obviously a little bit faster as far as selection, and they are forward as can be.
Yeah, but I think that hill though is definitely a weak point for Dio. If a cheap Frank Castle comes up on there, it's going to be very difficult for Dio Roja here to fend it off.
For sure. It's going to be a bit awkward indeed. I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, both these civs are highly mobile, and we expect to see the players using that mobility as we see the monkey for Dio here come near the town center. Will escape with its life, but we do have good scouting here for Dio, and it looks like Dap is headed in the right direction. It should run into his opponent as well. Very
And
good.
it looks like players opting to do a little bit of scouting around their own bases before going forward. I guess it was theorized that players might be very aggressive with laming, but we really haven't seen that yet, at least not on the Arabia map in this bracket.
For sure. And I think it's kind of been interesting too, because this Arabia, they tend to spawn generally closer than they are in this one. This one, they're directly across the map from one another. I would have expected it to be just a little bit closer with some of these generations that we've seen. Kados, talk about the word ugly with this forward hill, I believe, and yeah, it's a bit rough.
Yeah, and the one gold that I was thinking looked pretty juicy for him, the one down to the left, it appears he's kind of going to wall out. So I guess Dioraja is, I mean, by leaving these two front golds as his golds, he kind of just absolutely has to be winning the game at all points. He just can't get pushed on his front or he'll be goldless.
Yeah, and he is going to click up early here. Good 20 pop build. Does not have a barracks up yet in this lumber camp. Two lumber camps on the same wood line. Never what I like to see personally, but didn't want to walk all the way over here, be exposed to potential Frank scouts. Should be coming here before too long.
Yep, but I mean, that is by far the closest wood line. Maybe he's just like a real build order kind of guy. Needs to build a second lumber camp. As far as efficiency goes, that is the best one. But yeah, he's just incredibly vulnerable overall. But if you have the cleaner build, the faster army, and you're able to dictate the game, maybe it doesn't matter how vulnerable your base is because the fights will all be happening across the map.
Yeah, but we would have Frank Militia being created here. And looks like he's on gold, so this is actually going to be a man-at-arms play. Kind of surprising. Something you don't see very often.
Yep, men-at-arms, I mean, they should do good work here. I mean, I believe, like, men-at-arms do pretty well versus scouts. They'll keep him safe for sure at the start of Feudal Age. There's a good chance they'll pick some vills, cause a lot of eco inefficiency. I don't see any negatives to this play at all.
Yeah, and behind this, it looks like he's already going to wall up. I think this is potentially going to be a man-at-arms and then boom situation. Don't think we're going to see him trying to move out, as he does have two villagers already committed to the walls. Man-at-arms are going to show up just to see the stable. The monkey is here as well, and these wood lines are in a bad way here. Man-at-arms upgrade will come in. Villagers have to retreat.
Very nice quick walls, though.
Big downhill hits here. Lots of HP taken off here. I think this could be really bad here. There's only one scout out on the map. Two in queue. And actually it's a monkey. It's not a scout even. So this is going to have to be dealt with.
Yeah, I would always like to drop like a stone wall tile behind this here, man. I've just seen these palisades go down. It requires so much micro to continuously repair this. It's just so risky, and for 5 stone you can give yourself the peace of mind that these are never going to break through. But I guess players really like to leave their stone count untouched, and rightfully so.
Yeah, even if you're wanting to mine a little bit of stone rather than buy stone later to boom, what is 5, 10, 15 stone? It's not a whole lot. Archer follow-up here, potentially. Looks like a spearman's coming forward. Maybe just an archery range at the moment, but a very interesting position. Not what you expect to see from Franks.
And Kados asks about the monkey's bonus versus buildings. I believe it has no bonus damage, but its rate of attack is so high that buildings with negative melee armor appear to melt. Like houses in particular, I believe they have -2 melee armor. The monkey just gets so many hits in that it's functionally getting an attack bonus.
Yeah, and the fight is here. Monkey did go down. Villagers joining the fight here. All of these are at very low HP. I think this was really well microed here. I don't think he's lost a single villager at this point. Nope. Comes out of it very clean, so well done. Bravo.
Yep. Fancy micro, didn't kill any vills, but ends up being able to keep the scouts away long enough to get his full wall, plus causes some eco idle time, and I'm sure has taxed the APM of Dioraja. I mean, I know that, at least for me personally at this level, if I have to micro that hard, I'm going to screw up whatever build I'm going for.
Yeah, and honestly, behind this, it's looking very good for him. He's dropping farms everywhere. He hasn't lost a single vill. I mean, that micro was insane. It was insane. The scout HP, as asked for here, almost 2 scouts dead. That's it. And if they're forward, they're on the wall here. This will need a response, and Dap does respond. Archers are going to be the choice behind this, which is going to be very interesting. But honestly, that was potentially the most impressive micro I've seen in this bracket.
Yeah, I think it was microed very well on both sides, but given the final result of no vills going down, you got to applaud Dioraja especially.
I mean, the KD is 6-0, and it was in his wood line of which he took the fight. I mean, well played. I'm dead at that point. Like, I'm dying. Like, I'm not winning this game. Monkey and Scouts continue to harass. Archers are kept in the archery range at the moment. Solid wall up behind this. Uh-oh. Are they gonna get in after all? Ooh, so close. So close.
I mean, Kaidos is asking, can we check the HP on those scouts? I feel like...
I did, yeah. They're almost all full health. 2 of them are at low health, and unfortunately, the spear does pluck that one off. But, no, it was quite impressive. Archers moving forward here. One archer looks like it may be caught out. The other 4 are headed forward.
Yep, I love the archer play here. I mean, you were commenting that Berbers seem like a good counter to Franks. Getting archers in the mix definitely helps a lot. And, you know, even Castle Age crossbows as Franks, they're totally adequate. They should perform very well against camels. You know, you kind of need that. I think at this level, with this matchup, you can't just do the Franks full knights thing at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I'm seeing right now is Dio is going to be up so much faster. His economy's looking very promising behind this. He has not lost anything. It looks like he might actually lose a Vill here if they shoot it, if they can get it. Yeah, there goes the first Vill kill of the game. Getting a defensive archery range up. Another Vill does go down to these archers. But his economy is very, very good behind this, so I think he's going to be just fine. Dap is taking the advantage, though, as another Vill goes down.
Yep, these archers are finishing the job the men-at-arms started pretty decently here.
Yeah, it was a very nice move. 4 archers coming forward end up getting 4 villager kills. I mean, got another archer on the gold yet that's about to be taken care of here. And more pouring across the field, so Dap is going for this pretty aggressively here, and another mill in the back to take this hunt. All that hunt is in quite a nice location for him as well. A little bit more gold, though, and Dio is on his way up.
Yep, I like it. Dap's only defense is walls. Meanwhile, he's just sent wave after wave of attack. I think he's ahead like 4 Vills worth of like total TC work time, seeing that Dio has wheelbarrow and Dap doesn't. So even though he's a bit later up, Dap's got full walls. He should have a slightly better eco. I think Dap's probably a little bit ahead here.
Yeah, I think he does miss wheelbarrow, but with the villager discrepancy now, he's in a much better position. Skirm's now going to be able to push back for the moment, but ultimately Castle Age Click is already in for Dio, and he is going to be up like a decent amount ahead, as for some reason there he clicks. But he had quite a bit behind that, so...
And leading your opponent into going skirms when you're planning to make knights also feels pretty good.
Absolutely. I mean, he is adding his own stable, so I don't predict he will continue with the skirmishers for too long, but all in all, a very nice move.
Yep, and as Weasel points out that he thinks Dioraja means red god. I know the Manta, I think he's from Puerto Rico. Can we get a little native Spanish speaker idea of what Dioraja means? Because I'm pretty sure Dio's not God, right?
You're asking the wrong person, man. I am as bilingual as no Espanol, sir.
I believe the Manta. I believe the Manta is from Puerto Rico. I think he can plug it.
Yeah, if he's in chat, maybe he could give us a helper there. What's up? Geo is in chat. Welcome, sir. Oh, Giovanni has some history here with Dioraja. 5 tournaments, 3 finals. Right. I like to hear these things. Feels like a rivalry is brewing. We have to look at the bracket later. See if those two could potentially face one another. Speaking of, Jabari, when do you play your set, good sir?
I'm waiting on Daisy Chain. We still have an entire week to get it done. I've started practicing a bit myself. He said that he was cold and he wanted some time to practice, so I guess we'll probably be later in the week.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, looking forward to it a ton, man.
You have to let me know when you're scheduled, because I will need to inform a individual they will be co-casting with me around what time. So.
Yep, I'm sure that individual will love the opportunity.
Indeed. Forward, Knights, Skirms. They're going to get in here, actually. 3 stable, 3 TC behind this for Dap. I think a little bit too much potentially, but getting the numbers out is going to be really beneficial at this point. And honestly, the TCs are probably really good because they're well placed for defensive measures now. So.
Yep, I mean, Dioraja is bringing a very nice army. He could win just about any fight except under the TCs, and it looks like Dap is really just interested in getting that Vil count up. I see he's also on Stone, Boom into Castles. I actually don't know how Dioraja is going to be able to damage him with this army of cavalry and skirms, given like the full TC cover at Dap's base, plus Dap's army itself, is strong enough to definitely make taking a fight under a TC unfavorable for Dio.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see Pikeman added here. Spear's already getting upgrades, and it's probably a good call to add Pikes. The upgrade is rather expensive, though, and he has been creating villagers rather consistently, only 2.5 minutes of idle time with 3 town centers now. Fairly good. Behind this, Dio will add 1 town center and a monastery. So,
yeah, man, the Vil difference is already considerable enough that I feel like Dap has already won the macro game. I'm thinking that Dio's only hope is to win this relatively soon by committing harder to army early. I don't know, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit with these conclusions, but 3 CCs to 2, 12 Vils up, plus Dap's probably about to drop a castle to defend everything. I think Dap is really pulling away with this.
Yeah, he's in a really solid position. The only issue here is the military count is quite larger. I know there are a handful of skirmishers in here, but predominantly it's Camel Knight. There are still 2 archers here, awkwardly placed for Dap. Thought maybe they were forward.
I just love Dap's base so much, man. I just can't see him taking considerable eco damage. If a fight breaks out, he can just kind of pull back a little and then get the TCs helping in. His TCs are also placed so beautifully apart, man, that the farms are fitting together so nicely. It's just very aesthetically pleasing as well.
Yeah, done a well done job here. I mean, the only thing that I really like is the mixed units here. I think mixing in Camel with the Knight is very good for Dio. And honestly, adding monks behind this is probably very underrated. Very good to have that in there. Could sway the fight ever so slightly in his direction if it were to come to that. Here comes that defensive castle we were speaking of, though.
Yep. And when you already have a Vil lead, you're adding Vils at a faster pace. The defensive castle just kind of guarantees that you're going to have the superior economy, at least until Imperial. He's surrendering his archery range here, but it doesn't look like he really cares about that at all, as I don't see him queuing any archers any longer.
Castle was noticed, however, and the camels will, like, engage such an awkward position here, but this is going to be a big fight. Knights do have one additional upgrade with the +1 attack. It's almost impossible to call this fight with the camels getting that bonus attack, but there is way more HP here for Dio, it looks like.
It looks like Dio's absolutely cleaning up here. This castle could be temporarily denied, but the castle is still within range of the TC, so I don't know if it can be permanently denied.
Yeah, the villagers are going down as well. I mean, not a lot of them, but the Eco KD is about even. Only one Vil left building this castle, 81.81% complete, and the camels are in the economy. It is well defended, but garrisoning all these Vils is impossible with 3 town centers, and there are a lot of Vils in the back that have been discovered here.
Yeah, maybe Dap was not as safe as I was imagining. I mean, his his base is just completely filled with defensive buildings, but he doesn't have the second arrow upgrade, and without the castle completed, Dio seems comfortable diving these town centers, and even if he's losing a few camels, he's idling the entire economy.
Yep, and just like that, the economy is almost the same, and actually, if one more Vil goes down, we will have equal numbers. There we go. So 3 TCs not paying off in the end at the moment, and there's only 5 villagers in this TC in the south, and it's going to be beaten down unless there's some military production to help deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage is just completely gone for Dap. He's down heavily in army. He's down slightly in economy. He's probably at a civ disadvantage. At this point, I think Dap's plan is just completely foiled.
I think he's going to go pikeman, and it looks like there are quite a few of them on the field. Pikeman seems to be the only way back into this, other than trying to boom up with this. He still has a good position on the map. I mean, he's got everything he could need within the base right now. Being pushed back here, though, is rough. We do have 2 siege workshops going to be coming down here, so I can only imagine we are going to see a ram push here in Castle Age, and Dio wants to push his advantages now. Does not want this to go late. I mean, the Berber economy behind this is looking fairly good. Obviously, he was down by a significant number of villagers there, and now having the lead. Very good position still. Another castle will be coming up soon, though, I feel, for Dap, and it's actually going to be a Scorpion for Dio. Wonder if this is a misclick. Or if he's just going to go Scorpion against the Pikes, I guess.
Yeah, I think Scorpion's a really nice counter to the Pikes. Heavy cavalry plus Scorpion should do very well here.
Yeah. I'd like to point out this moment, though. We are healing our soldiers over a ton of HP there. Very nice thing to see. A player actually using that as a... Sorry, go on.
Oh, nothing. I'm actually going to look up if Dioraja means anything in Finnish right now.
Alright, sounds good. But this is a big move here, guys. It was almost... What was it? 700, 800 HP. He may be able to heal up on all these units. As we have a lone archer headed across the map doing some scouting, it looks like. Some knights will move out as well, as a 4th town center is being added from Dap Warner here.
Yeah, I think that at this point the extra town center is primarily for protection more so than Vil production, and I was not able to find anything about this guy's name. I'll message him after the match.
All right, gonna drive him insane until then. Handcart coming in here. The economy for Dap is impressive. He will need a second building soon to actually go up, but ultimately this push that I thought was gonna be Ram, Speed, Scorpion, fine as well. Dio gonna be up soon himself, and has just now lost the economy lead after the raids. I mean, Scorpion with Knight Camel and even a few skirmishers mixed in, I definitely prefer that over Alb.
Yeah, I mean, Dioraja's army value here is insane. He's going to have an Imperial army, which is basically uncounterable. Going to have it fast. He's going to probably be continuously replenishing it at a very fast pace. I don't know if Franks are especially... oh boy, this castle will not go up. I don't know if Franks are going to be able to deal with this. Dioraja probably has us in the bag, man. His military advantage is just absolutely overwhelming.
Pulling 8 Scorpions for so few pikemen, 13 of them here. Honestly, taking this fight is very worthwhile here, and this castle should never go up in this position.
Yep, and Dioraja is kind of moving this army back and forth on a giant hill here too, which I assume he's going to want to drop a castle on himself.
And another big engagement here as the castle will come forward. He wants to put it on the front now. He's going to send villas up the front.
I mean, if he can get it up there, that's absolutely huge. That is like kind of the hill at the front of his base.
But he's not going to have any military, and he's going to be overwhelmed with military here. Full economy approach after losing his army, really. Early on, there's only 6 military on the field, with 20 military queued right now. Villager count is dropping very rapidly. Monks on the front here, trying to deny the castle with a scout, and he's actually going to bring the military back. I don't think this castle ever goes up.
Yeah, I think ever since that big loss where the game basically turned, Dap has kind of been acting out of desperation. He doesn't really have a plan that can win at this point. This castle, he probably didn't actually believe it would go up, but was just hoping. The GG's probably imminent. It looks like he's going to wait for Dio to actually strike the death blow. But Dio looks like he's going to be continuing to field, 50-ish plus military of the strongest units in the game. And Dap is going to probably struggle to get to 100 pop.
Yeah, definitely not the greatest position for him here. In lots of trouble, even if he has Cavalier. I mean, heavy camel upgrade is also on the way, and there's a lot more camels on the field here. I guess not. There's actually a mixture of a lot of knights in here, so it's only 8 camels, it looks like.
Yeah, after he took the lead, he pivoted to primarily knights. I guess he kind of... I don't know, man. He could afford to make either, and he would still be in a very winning position.
Yeah, and the economic lead now is pretty huge. Both players going far out to get some more town centers down, but ultimately, military numbers making the big difference and making some excellent exchanges here, excellent fights, really paying off for Dio.
Yeah, but I do like Dap's 1000 TC approach, including the faraway TC. It does give him an imaginable way back into the game. By spreading out and having so many TCs, he makes it much more likely that he's going to be able to maintain a high pop for longer. And just the longer the game goes, more chance there is for something to turn around.
Trebuchet is coming here for Dio, and actually Hoarding's being researched. Cavalier numbers are decent for Dap, but there are only 20 on the field. There are 30 knights and 9 heavy camels on the other side.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if Dap might end up wanting to go Paladin here. I feel like, as Franks, you're kind of always dreaming of that, and that is kind of like one of the hypothetical Civ advantages that you get from Franks here. And it looks like he's not producing any additional knights, which makes me think he might actually be saving up for Paladin.
I mean, Paladin would be spectacular here, but so expensive. He's actually getting infantry upgrades. There comes the other cav upgrade. He's actually going to try to raid, and actually this other town center here I really love for Dap, is it will be on the other gold down here. So he will control both neutral golds for a time.
Yeah, I love it. He's going to collect more gold long term. He can possibly lose his base while still maintaining a decent economy. This raid could do a ton if it gets in.
Yeah, but it looks like it was noticed. There are only 4 villagers out here on this gold, and the heavy camels will track these down. There is a potential to get in as there's only one palisade not fully walled here, but how much will it actually do? We'll have to find out.
Ooh, as he takes down the palisade and then just kind of throws the army. If he had just scattered those Cavalier around the base rather than taking this fight, he could have really tied up a lot of the enemy economy, but instead, basically those Cavalier were just sacrificed for nothing.
Yeah, and it is Knight v Pike here with a few Cavalier on the front. And actually, I think we're going to move out. So both players doing a very good job moving out, expanding their economy. Just fear that 70 military will never be defeated. Paladin click, there it is.
I am so impressed, though, with Daps spreading out and staying competitive with the population here. I guess Dio's kind of doing the slow roll thing, preserving a large army, focusing on the enemy base, focusing on the hills in the center of the map. And Dap, I mean, he's got the full Vil count. He's taking the extra resources. He's spread out all over the map. I can imagine him winning this in a long game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, the only issue here is there's just so little military. It's 50 additional military numbers before this fight took place for Dio. And they're as upgraded as they can be, minus a few attack upgrades. But when it's just pikemen and cavalier, not the greatest position, as a lot of Vils are going down for Dap here. He lost quite a bit of that military, running them trying to attack. Halb upgrade is about to come in with only 8 pikemen on the field. Villager numbers are plummeting. Cavalier just not going to be able to get out in number. Even if Paladin finishes, he'll be down to 2 stables soon.
Yeah, I mean, his original base here is totally lost. He has failed to run away with the Vils, so despite having 3 TCs around the edge of the map, if he gets cleaned up at his base, he's not going to have a competitive economy. He's done a lot of things to set himself up for a decent end game. Getting Paladin, getting Help, getting a lot of tech, getting the extra resources. But fundamentally, if his Vil count is far below 100 and he has no production buildings, he's not going to be able to compete.
Yeah, and the GG comes in. Paladin upgrade did finish there, but he had nothing available on the field, having to take the fight. And military numbers and a good timing for Dio here to take these fights ultimately really put him ahead there.
Yep, I mean, I think there's that one time when the castle got denied. I think that was the very clear turning point of the game, and Dio just kind of pulled away with it from there. I did like how Dap hung in it, but I don't know, man. If he had managed to run more of his Vils away from his main base, I think he could have possibly hung a little longer. But at the end of things, he really was just hanging, not exactly competing for most of the end game there.
Yeah, and we'll move on. We'll go to the home map here for Dap Warner is going to be Banana.
Sweet.
Quick update on the Civ draft, and we'll be back in just a second to load up the next game, guys. We will bring this up briefly. There was an issue with one of the Banana generations, or 2, I guess. We had a couple issues we're going to look into where they were not spawning with sheep. Quite unfortunate, but we'll be fixing that as soon as possible.
Yep, I think I know exactly how to fix it. I'm just gonna, I'll experiment a little bit, but I'm pretty sure if I increase the spawn radius for the sheep, it will be able to successfully find a place for them.
Good. Game number 2. I am loaded in at what will be 5 seconds. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1, go. Banana! Welcome, everyone. Dap Warner in yellow with the Goth, nonetheless. And then we have Dio here with the Khmer. Interesting choices. What do you think?
I don't know what to think of these Civ choices. I really have no idea about the meta on this map. I am just so happy to see it. I mean, this map is Banana. For those who don't know, this black terrain is actually, it's not unexplored. It is, I guess the terrain is called black. We refer to it as the void or something like that. The units can actually walk off of it, but you can't build in it.
Here's a
The
perfect
trees,
example. The monkey for Dap Warner going into the abyss.
yep. The trees have 1,000 wood. Forage bushes have 2,000 food. And players are going to have to figure this one out. There's a chance that there's some strategy on the map that's incredibly dominant. There's a chance that players are going to figure out how to break it. But at this moment, there's no publicly available knowledge on how to play this map in a broken way. And I invite players to try and figure it out. Definitely, I mean, we said this about the previous version of Banana, that it is probably the most bizarre and least conventional tournament map we've seen. I think this one one-ups it a bit.
A little bit. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, you can have quite the successful time at home. You do have 1,000 gold per tile, so 3,000 gold right next to their players' town centers. Obviously, stone here as well. Monkey fight goes in better for Dio here. Khmer, a Civ I find strange for this selection. Obviously a good civilization, but not more of a mobile Civ in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Against Goth, though, oh, those Scorpions could be spectacular.
I think Scorpions underperform quite a bit against Huskarls, and yeah, since this is Dap's home map, I would assume that he's got an idea for what he wants to go for. I would guess that Dio had no idea what he was getting himself into, and Khmer is just kind of a wild card pick here.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. Barrack's already coming up for our Goth player, so maybe we're going to see some early aggression potential, but I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yep, and I mean, we did play a few practice games on this. Drush or Men-at-Arms gets something done, generally. A lot of resources are covered by the TC, but to get that little bit of extra scouting and harass your opponent, especially if they are going out at all, it's not a wasted investment.
And this is a very, very friendly map for Man-at-Arms Towers, I feel like. Although all the res that you need to go Castle Age usually have right under your town center or pretty close to it. So it's going to be a means to an end there, and I don't know how often we'll actually see it. We do have both players inching forward. The map is obviously something to adjust your eyes to. And oh, 2 sheep taken out by the monkey here. Dio is going to be playing this as aggressively as possible, it seems.
Yeah, probably not worth losing the monkey for that, especially when these bushes have infinite food. Yeah. But maybe it's good for the morale to do a little bit of layman here.
Yeah, and you know,
It's
he does not see the barracks, so no way that's worth these berries. Dio is not happy with the berries.
No, he's just saying exactly what I said, that it's definitely not worth losing your monkey to lame a couple sheep if you have thousands of food on the berries. It's like, what good is depriving your opponent of 200 food when they already have thousands?
Yeah, I mean, the sheep are quicker, though. These berries are a free source of food and quite a bit of food, but it takes such a long time to gather them in comparison to... So, if it works out, but... Another lumber camp for Dio, so he's trying to get that efficiency up there, and these lumber camps will be efficient for a very long time, since there's so much wood per tree.
Yep, I mean, on this map, if you can get like 4 trees within a tile or 2 of a lumber camp, that is an excellent wood line, if you can even call it that. Building a lumber camp for even a single tree, in some cases, is still worth it.
Yeah, I mean, this map is just... It's so very strange. And we're gonna have to find out how well this one performs with everyone. We did play like a best of 3 on this, Jabari and myself, we had some fun times with it, and the biggest issue with the previous version is it just turned it into a full water map, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was probably a little bit more nuance to it, but everyone seems to agree that Galley is an overpowered unit on the map. I think we will see much more diverse gameplay here. It is possible that it will be revealed that, like, a tower rush is the, ultimate strategy here. And if that's the case, then so be it. I don't know if that's necessarily true. There will always be a defender's advantage, but it is definitely true that if you lose the front of your base here, you've lost everything.
Yeah. Kados, you're trying to give yourself some credit over here. He says, I think you're right, Kados. Cumin Ram Push is meta. I love it. On to the Feudal Age, where we have villagers coming forward, and it will be Man-at-Arms. So Man-at-Arms towers, potentially. Ooh, actually a forward archery range. Interesting.
These Men-at-Arms should be so strong here. I mean, there's nowhere to run. If you lose access to the trees right in front of your base, I guess you have a couple that are covered by your TC, but getting pushed off your area here doesn't leave you with too many places to run.
I mean, you can run. The Black Void is runnable, but what is there? There really isn't enough there. But it will be Man-at-Arms, 4 of them actually, and then we have archers to follow this up, and this is the aggression on this map that I think we're going to see a lot of. Yes, Santa, they can walk onto the void. Pathing seems a little different, but they can definitely do it.
Yeah, the void is definitely not supposed to be included in a map as it is here. There are some bugs with the way units path on it. As you see, the Men-at-Arm looked like it was chasing that villain, then it might have opted not to. I don't know, man. You have to play it to really get a feel for how the pathing on the black works.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to, as Dio is in a lot of trouble here, it seems. This tower is beautiful. It actually will deny a lot, and there are archers and villagers that can go into this, try to take it down. The economy is very, very idle for Dio here. 38% efficiency, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and the Vil count also is just so heavily in Dap's favor. I mean, it looks like Dap came into this with a plan, and he's just absolutely racking a bit.
Yeah, I mean, awards players who are prepared, as the Man-at-Arms will walk into the void to try to sneak around potentially and do some more damage here. Archers now being added into the tower, which will increase the fire rate here. Castle Age, though, for Dio.
Yeah, I just think it's so awesome seeing the units walk through the black, man. As someone who's played this game for so many thousands of hours, seeing something like this that doesn't feel right is just so surreal.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. I mean, we'll see what happens. Blacksmith about to be coming out, but I don't know. It feels very difficult to come back from this position, although Dio is in next age. No real military, but skirmishers to speak of at the moment.
Dio has a nice back gold, and his tower did win the tower war. If he's able to slam a castle on his front, he guarantees himself some longevity in the game.
For sure. He's going to have to get that stone count, though, up, as he does have stone at home, and will be going for that route. Honestly, I think a stable would be appropriate here. Just a couple knights would do, but no such military being created yet.
And I think that fundamentally the fight just taking place in Dio's area just makes everything so much harder for him, while on the other side, Dap's just had, a completely smooth economy all game.
Yeah, and he's just using all the free resources. I dropped one farm here, otherwise he's on berries forever. And pressuring his opponent, will be going up to the Castle Age before too long.
Yeah, Dio's gone Castle Age for what here? Has he done a single Castle Age thing yet?
I mean, he did get the HP on the tower. That's about it. That did help him. Otherwise, there's the stable he wants to drop right there. And if that goes up, could be in a decent spot, but Dap behind this will be up as well. There is the click, and he is having a much healthier economy here. And Manta does not like the map.
Yeah, man, I would expect the map to get some hate. Players tend to like the most conventional maps. This is definitely one of the weirdest ones. There's a chance that it's horrible to play. At this point, I am still very curious to see it played, however.
Yeah, it will be an interesting one, that is for sure. Upgrades on the infantry going to be coming in here for Dap. As I expect, we're just going to see infantry spam with some siege, potentially. But going to be some siege at home for Dio, as well as a stable being up. Still no knight. Really feel like knights would have been a very nice addition. It feels like Socotra. Yeah, Geo, it's a Socotra map, alright. It's a little bit more awkward because the map is so limited on resources, but we have increased the value per tile, so it's gonna be really fun to watch and see how players figure this one out.
I mean, I guess with deeply unusual maps, I assume that some players will just kind of arbitrarily choose to figure out a strategy for it and probably rightfully assume that their opponents will be underprepared, possibly, having played 0 practice games on it. And yeah, the farther from normal it is, the more practice pays off, I feel.
Yeah. Scorpions and Battle Elephant on the field. Interesting combination with a few archers here as well.
Yep, and in the absence of any pikes, elephants are just completely OP.
Yep, should be just fine, especially with the Scorpion behind it. One elephant gonna clean up quite a bit of military here. It is a lot of numbers, but ultimately sitting just fine at home now.
Kind of looks like Dio has completely stabilized here. His base is so awkwardly congested. I guess he's built some houses just for the Khmer hopping. It is worth noting that both players start with 200 pop space on this map, so houses are not necessary for normal purposes.
Yeah, that is one benefit to this. You get like the Hun start out of the matter. But we'll see what happens here. The only problem for Dio is his resources will be very congested. He has very little room to build up military numbers. The RAM goes down quickly here, but that does cost Dap a lot of his military numbers. Actually, looks like it might be close to all of them. One more knight here. No attack upgrades, one defensive upgrade, no bloodlines, but crossbows. A strange choice, in my opinion, but see what happens here.
Yep, as Dap is pretty heavily on stone now. I think that if Dap is able to get up to enough stone to have a castle and just castle this area where he's building his towers and buildings, Dio is gonna probably be GG, man. He appears to be holding now, but a single castle denies his entire map.
Yeah. Honestly, when I saw Franks on his draft, I really thought he was going to pick them here for the berry bonus.
Yeah, berry bonus plus cheaper castles makes Franks actually seem like a very appropriate pick for this map. As Dap continues to drop towers, kind of suggesting that he's not thinking castle, which is just so weird as Goths especially. Like, you want that first castle for Huskarls at least, if nothing else. Plus, like, a castle controls everything within its range so effectively, and on this map, it could just range like 50% of Dio's everything.
Yeah, but instead he will drop another tower. I think he's just trying to keep his towers up here and frustrate his opponent, not allow him to do everything he needs to do here, as the mangonel will go down here if it's not repaired or moved back quickly. And he is very cramped back here, but still plenty of res, so it's not like he's hurting for res at the moment.
No, but he will definitely be on a clock, and it's also a matter of building space. I'm sure it's much more comfortable to play as Dap in this game than as Dioraja here. Yeah, as Dio just calls it. Kind of abruptly. I guess he's just feeling the struggle, man.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I think in my own favorite world of all feudal age play, that this is very much a possible situation. Dio says there's a restore. He disconnected
Oh,
here.
that's what's up with the second part. Okay.
All right, my mistake then. We're not done. We'll be right back. Let me find this out. Let me see.
Okay, yeah. So I have this other replay here. If I load it, okay, it starts where the last one left off.
All right, let me see. Did I load the right one? No. Too many games, guys. Let's see here. So this is it. It is a part 2.
We have Dio in chat here. Can you tell us what your name means?
This is never going to end. The name discussion, please, Dio. Please tell us. I have the game. I am at 25 minutes and 47 seconds. Are you that range?
Mine is 25:48. Yep. So let's count down.
3, 2, 1, go. All right. We are back. The towers are still in command here. Part 2 doesn't mean anything in Finnish. It's actually after Ronnie James Dio, but I like it. Can also be read something like Red God. So, there you go.
Interesting.
There you go.
All right, so then even though it's not proper Spanish for Red God, that's kind of what it's meant to be. I dig.
So, Dio has not resigned, folks. He was dropped, and we are back. Good thing he was in chat. I thought it was actually just a different rec because they had some issues in the previous loads, but our mistake. Tower war galore here. This feels very, very, very rough.
Yep, and this TC, man, is going to be awesome. This ranges 2 of the towers. TC's crush towers when it comes to just a firefight.
Yes, but Dio has purchased the stone needed for a castle, and he has placed said castle in the front, and that will actually range all 3 towers and the town center, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, I love this. Dap should have probably done a castle instead of so many towers, in my opinion. With this one castle, Dio completely buys himself back about half the banana. He's going to push off all of these towers. He is failing to wall in the vills here, so these men-at-arms are actually doing a lot of work. But I think Dio's going to commit however many vills are necessary to get this up, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and he needs the space. He actually is running short on gold in the back, so stone will also be running short. This will clean up the front of his base here. It will buy him a significant amount of the map. And honestly, this is a big investment for Dap here, so I really like this position. The problem for Dio that I see, though, is we have Imperial Age fastly approaching as Dap has purchased some more food. And honestly, if he sold his stone and wood, I think he's up.
Yeah, but what is he going imp for? Like champion?
Well, and no buildings, though, so he's going to have to rectify that quickly.
Yeah, he needs both buildings at this point. And I don't know, I feel like he hasn't even taken full advantage of Castle Age, having like added no siege, no castle. Going imp here makes so little sense, but it kind of appears that that's what he's doing.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see. Honestly, villagers are all headed forward here. Very strange. I don't know where they're headed at the moment. Stone? Oh, they were mining stone and they went to the nearest stone. Ah! Now we have the DG. Alright. So, Dio decides just to call it here and move on.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be a GG to score. I mean, the Eco KD is looking pretty brutal for him. Maybe he's assuming that Dap had some strategy because he had home mapped it.
Yeah, indeed. Nonetheless, GG's in chat for both. We'll update the map pool and Civ draft here. We'll have to go to lanes next.
Oh boy, this will be our first game on the updated version of Lanes.
Yeah, and we have Dio with Bulgarians and Sicilians remaining. Dap with Japanese and Celts. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Let's load in and see what we have for us, guys. Going to a game number 3. Couldn't be more happy about that.
Yep, and I'm loaded up, ready when you are.
Moment. Let me adjust things appropriately here. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. You introduce this one, sir.
Sure, why not? So here we are on Lanes. I don't know if you've seen this map before. It has been updated so that sometimes it is oriented like rotated 90 degrees from how you see it here. But unfortunately, we got the old style here, so the map looks exactly like it has every other time. The players start in this middle lane here, and I guess they chop out to get extra resources and relics in the outside. Quite often, the game ends without either of the outer lanes being explored. And yeah, let's introduce the players. Here we have Dioraja as the Bulgarians. A pretty popular choice here. I think it's primarily for the free Men-at-Arms Swords line upgrade. Men-at-Arms tend to do work on this map. Players like to try to full wall the front, and Men-at-Arms just kind of cruise through that, and I guess deny a lot of popular strategies, a lot of FC stuff. And on the other side, we have Dap Warner as the Celts. I don't think we've seen them too much at all in this tournament. Their faster wood chopping bonus comes to mind. They're probably the quickest civ to get out to the lanes if that's what you're into. Besides that, I guess the fights do tend to be a little bit choky. So, death balls might be considered a sort of meta. So possibly siege help could be a thing to go for. Yeah, this berry bush here, man. I don't know if you see that on the standard maps. There must be some like clumping factor in the gen that makes this possible. This thing's looking like a fuzzy caterpillar here for sure.
I love it, actually. I actually was like, I had to double take and check the other one. I was like, what is this? And of course, these holiday, things, I actually have come to love them, and I may keep them. It's very interesting. But to further what you said here, Celts, civilization we do not see selected on this map. And I personally think that they are a very good civ here, potentially even overpowered, because once these militia are faster, come feudal age, the huge benefit, especially if you are going infantry. And infantry towers has proven to be very, very effective here. And we've actually seen it done quite a few times on this map. But not only that, the Celt Siege firing faster will make it very beneficial should we see Castle Age. I personally would prefer them in this situation. The only benefits, Bulgarians do get those upgrades for free, which means, most importantly, they have an amazing time window that they will be able to get some more engagements, better upgrades, essentially. And the power swing for Man-at-Arms alone is massive early game, so we'll see if that is the case, and I love what we're seeing from Dio here. He is going to quick wall in with a little bit of space for his wood chopping vills, and both players have adequately gone to the outside rather than the closest wood lines, so they will be chopping towards the additional resources if the game does go late.
Dio reminded us earlier that Dioraja has a bit of a record of making it to a lot of tournament finals. As you see him walling in his wood line there, you see he's not messing around. He definitely does not want to be vulnerable here. He's going to try extremely hard in this one, as signaled by that.
Yeah, and honestly, it's in a very, very great set. Both these players showing good skills and some excellent micro from Dio. I don't know if you were around for game 1, Dio, but we said some very nice things about your micro. But we'll see if this comes to an effect here, if we see Celt infantry, or Celt siege works Banano micro is going to be very crucial.
And I can't discount the possibility of Dap having some crazy plan that involves a fast chop through and possibly denying his opponent access to the lanes. on maps involving chop-throughs, I guess I just always think of Celts automatically.
Yeah, no, for sure. And both players have a decent infantry line, obviously. But to further that, we do have Bulgarians here. They do have Stirrup, Cavalier, and Conic. Nice. Celts, interestingly, do have Paladin with no husbandry. Not something you see all the time. Not saying we're going to see anything like that this game, but boy, wouldn't that be a crazy situation to have Celts go into Paladin.
Yep, I would be shocked to see that. Against Bulgarians, I feel like that would not be a game-winning decision to spend so much resources on something that seems pretty easily countered.
Yeah, no one said it had to be an option. Just wanted to point that out, just that it is a possibility. Very unique. If we would to see that, it would be crazy. But nonetheless, militia for both parties here moving out. And this is where that power swing comes into effect. If Dio heads forward here, and he is right before the upgrade is going to come in, this is where Dap is going to have to be careful. He's up slightly later. These are instantly going to turn into Man-at-Arms here for us. There they are. Man-at-Arms do provide quite a power swing in the early game. Militia just passing the Man-at-Arms, it seems. Walls, though, may potentially save Dap here if he notices. Man-at-Arms upgrade will be in. There's a follow-up archery range behind this for Dio.
Yeah, it looks like the Palisade should get down just in time, especially... it's really down to the wire. Oh boy, Monkey denial. Monkey MVP there. All these walls are for nothing. The Men-at-Arms are in. Vill's going to go down. Beautiful block. He's trying to quick wall his wood line, but as we saw in game 1, and as I was saying, Men-at-Arms kind of eat Palisades.
Yeah, and the opposite side, the militia or Man-at-Arms had stopped, were unable to get anything done, and are now just attacking a wall. Follow-up archery range behind this as well.
Yep, I like the archery range, definitely appropriate. The best way to cleanly deal with Men-at-Arms as... Ooh, I do not like Dap's decision to focus the lumber camp. I mean, it's reasonable, but I think it's just so much less likely to get in than if he hits the Palisades.
Yeah, and this is a nice move for Dap. He is going to send a villager over and try to plug the gap so he can't bring in any reinforcements, and he will be able to clean this up with just a few archers. But at the same time, kind of the same situation over here for both players. But still, Dio in a better position as he did kill a villager thus far, so...
Yep, and this archer's learning the hard way that the monkey just is immune to arrows. It's taking 1 damage per arrow there. I guess it does eventually run away, giving the archer a sense of victory here. But yeah, the Vills need to enter the fight if this monkey's going to be dealt with.
Yeah, but then the Man-at-Arms are here, so he has to be very careful. Archer's going to deal well with this, but loses the Vill after all, and an archer. On the opposite side, still trying to batter through the lumber camp. The archers have showed up there as well. And another Vill has gone down here. The exchange is here. An archer did go down on the other side. We did miss this. The monkey did kill an archer, so... Man-at-Arms gonna take out another villager because the others couldn't fight with it. Oh. So Dap is in trouble here. His economy's in shambles. Not working a lot of his economy right now.
Yeah, this Eco KD is very rough for this stage of the game. Dio has secured himself a huge Eco upgrade. I guess Dap's Men-at-Arms are still alive, so there's some hope, but the archers are going to probably take care of this in quick order. Both players have pretty considerable idle time as well, it's worth noting. I guess hypothetically, if Dap had taken these losses but not had any idle time, he'd actually still be even, but... In this world, both players have cheated themselves. 3 or 4 Vills just letting the TC idle.
Yeah, and these Celt infantry are quite fast, but ultimately not going to be able to do any more damage here. Like, he will try to run with the Man-at-Arms. Now, the nice thing about lanes is are easily able to wall up, so once these walls are up, if you can keep them up. You will be safe behind this with loads of res here. Something to pay attention to as we move forward in the game. But this is looking to be in a very commanding position for Dio after this early engagement.
Yeah, it's a dominating economy advantage. Being 7 vills up in feudal age is, you probably win the game 90% of the time from this position. There's no reason to think that it is GG, but it just provides a tremendous advantage, which I assume Dio will capitalize on. I guess after hearing from Gio that Dio has made it to the finals of so many tournaments before, I'm really thinking that he is not going to squander this opening.
Yeah, it's very interesting too because Dap is actually the higher seeded player, but Dio comes to play and has some strategies put together and has really had some magnificent timing when it comes to fights and done himself well here so far in the first 2 games. We'll see if Dap's able to capitalize here with the military numbers, as he is leading in that category for this fight. Not everyone is fighting here, only 4 military. There are a few more coming forward, but ultimately this fast infantry for Celts is really something I feel is underrated in the early game.
I just keep on wandering down to that idle TC time as Dap continues to rack it up. Even though he's not taking any more damage, he's falling further and further behind because of that.
Yeah, I think he has simply been microing and trying to deal with everything and just having a harder time keeping it up and running. I'm going to have a second archery range. Nope, it was temporarily added and then deleted. He looks like he's happy he's pushing this fight back now. Oof, but yeah.
I mean, he's going archers versus skirms here, choosing to run away. Makes sense. I guess both players might end up just pulling back their armies and taking this fight to the next stage.
Yeah, I don't think that Dap can afford to do that, though. He's produced so much. He's gotten 4 blacksmith upgrades at this point. He has to try to push and do damage here. And I think he feels that under his belt because he's continued to produce military and send them across the map here.
Yeah, and Dioraja kind of does need to add some additional men-at-arms here. Otherwise, archer men-at-arms does kind of counter pure skirm.
Yeah, he was able to kill 2 villagers there, so that does help out quite the bit. But there's not enough military here to deal with killing vills and keep it alive at the moment. There's enough skirmishers to deal with this. The economy for Dio behind this is much better, and I think it really comes down to 2 eco upgrades and a lot less idle TC time. You will be clicking up here very soon. You could click up at any time, actually.
Yep, and in this moment, right before the click up, the score is actually about even. Dap got a few Vill kills. There's a chance that his morale is actually pretty high. From his perspective, there's no way to know that he's behind as much as he is.
Yeah, and he's going to be clicking up soon as well, so castle age times should be relatively similar. One thing that we did have quicker for Dap was the economy upgrades. Obviously, Celts, their lumberjacks, not the biggest thing to get that, although Double Bit X was prioritized early as well as Horse Collar. So the farms have a little bit more food per farm than we had as Dio just got that upgrade, but it's a 7 villa lead. We're having a stable being added here for Dio, so we'll see if this pays off or not. This is a big wall off left here, and it will be a stable for Dap behind this as well. So both players shift into cavalry.
Yep, I'm not surprised to see the stable. Celts, I mean, it's okay to go crossbow in the castle age, but knowing that the opponent's already got some skirms, being able to add a few knights is definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. Dap has done something, though, that I feel has plagued many of us in the past and have gotten every single blacksmith upgrade. And we'll see if he can put that to good use early here. Honestly, I think his best situation is going to be to try to boom, but he probably, again, doesn't think he's that far behind. given the score. Dio up faster will get +2 bloodlines, heavy plow and bowsaw immediately. So really gonna focus the economy upgrades as well as get +2 on those knights, which is gonna be a very important upgrade.
To field a bunch of knights. He's not queuing any additional ones behind it, but I would assume Dio's plan is to get out a nice mass of knights, and yeah, as the faster player up by just a second, maybe try to take advantage of that, get in. But I actually don't see him queuing anything. I wonder what Dio's doing right now.
Looks like he's gonna get a market up, getting his economy in order. Feels like he's ahead. He also did chop out. These villagers have advanced into the side here and likely looking for a good TC location. And on the front, we have archers and skirms fighting knights here. These knights do have +2/+1, so he will clear the military up on the front. And now I bet you he feels very comfortable in his position here.
Momentarily taking the score lead. Dio deciding to actually not go very hard for army, using the market to get wood for more TCs. I think Dap's actually going to have a moment here where he has the stronger army, and Dio, looking to just get an economy lead, is going to be vulnerable here for a minute.
Yeah, we are going to have iron casting coming in here, and the knights for Dio are headed forward. But he does realize the military is at his base, and he is going to try to head out. And it looks like this town center will be up at the perfect time. Palisade will go down, but they're not going to find much damage. Second TC being added behind this now for Dap, and like both players are going to focus some of their economy and work in that direction. Archers are cleaned up, so it is only 5 knights now to 9. Dio has really stepped up the knight production here. Still with a 6 villager advantage.
But 6 villagers when it's 47-41 is a lot more palatable than when it's like 27-33. Dap can plausibly pull back into a close eco situation as he adds his 3rd TC sooner. He's not taking any pressure at home just yet, though a huge number of enemy knights are about to just pierce this palisade.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a big problem. He's doing the right thing, I think, running away with this knight numbers. Hopefully his opponent follows, and wisely Dio sends 2 more fulfilled HP units with those knights and will be attacking forward here, and palisade walls will melt to +2 knights, no question. There is no military whatsoever at home, and there will be 11 knights in the economy here before long. And more to follow.
Dap is not prepared for this. He's going to lose vills. He's going to idle a lot of eco. The dream of booming back into this might die here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's only down by 4 villagers, but that will quickly escalate as, like, 2, 3 could go down here, as they do not. But these knights have +2 defense and can sit under this forever, and it is just spearmen. We only have fletching on the town center, so it's not going to do a lot of damage here. And we may see a GG here before too long. Dap still has resources and can produce, but he only has 2 stables, and he's losing quite a lot of numbers here.
This feels GG. When you see this many knights hanging out under your TC and you have no standing army, what can you do?
Yeah, and the 3rd town center is located. That doesn't really help either player here. The idle behind this is still massive. 40 idle out of 44 villagers remaining here. And there's enough knights here to melt TCs now, I believe.
Yeah, and even if they don't, Dap has essentially 0 vills working. I guess he sends a bunch of farmers back to work, but I would assume Dio is going to be sending in reinforcements and could re-idle those. Dap essentially has no economy right now, no military.
You will get a house wall up to resecure the hole, but there are still 6 knights available here, and your entire eco working efficiency is down to 21%. It is a rough day for Dap here.
Yep, and this game was just very well played by Dio. I guess the Men-at-Arms is very effective here. You can kind of credit the win to that first attack just going so well and just never relinquishing the advantage. He hasn't done anything too fancy since, just got up to Castle Age in a good time, queued up 2 stables worth of knights, but here he is with a significant eco advantage, a huge army with full upgrades at his opponent's base. I guess Dap just doesn't want to call it early. I do love that players don't want to go out easy in our tournament, but Dap is dead here.
Yeah, I mean, Dio has pulled the reins back a little bit, but I believe it's just to fix his economy and get everything rolling behind this. He also added a monastery and sent monks forward to heal up some weaker knights. Obviously, I would love to see a castle come forward or some siege, but even if this goes into a later game, Dio would have to allow quite a bit of time for Dap to build back into this. And there is the Forward Siege Workshop. So he will be pushing and trying to kill the opponent off now with what I would assume will be mangonels.
Yeah, and Dap, he's less than 1,000 score behind, so I can understand his thinking. If you're using the score as a proxy for like the game state, it's not telling him that he's hopeless. But
sure.
with all this capture age info, we see that Dap has half the eco, no army queued. And those circumstances are about to just get worse as like 20 knights flood his base.
Yeah, and they're not even going to flood. He's going to wait for the mangonel, which I think is the right move. And honestly, it's been very well played from both. Dap had a rough transition here early as this palisade wall was kept open by the monkey scout, and then the man-at-arms being able to come in and do a significant amount of damage here. Mangonel's coming forward, even Imperial Age behind this. Kados in chat wants to see a Krepos. Otter is here. Hello. Welcome. Thank you guys for continuing to show up. It's been great. Good to have everyone so invested in this. But looking... Go ahead.
Dio's just taking his time, ending it slowly here. These knights could take out these TCs and end this probably in the next 30 seconds. But why risk it? I guess the same thinking with the score is going on in Dio's head. He's thinking maybe Dap actually has a comparable economy and he can't afford to throw away his army.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reality is there's absolutely no conceivable path back for Dap here.
Yeah, and he's going to be losing his town center. I don't think there's any way he keeps this one up. I mean, knights have run to the south, and I don't know, it looks like maybe he walled up behind this or there is still a hole, but there's not enough knight numbers to contest this here, as, yeah, the knights will just run under. A villager's actually being sent forward to try to deal with this, it looks like, but once this goes down, more vills will die. Imperial Age is about to come in, and I think we may see the GG then.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look up at how many vills Dap has on each resource, that's not the kind of economy that you create armies or click up to imp with, and meanwhile your opponent appears to be, doing the thing where they get pop capped with the army of their choice fully upgraded.
Yeah.
If Dap continues past the Imperial Age coming in, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, and I mean, his economy's been idle for so long, and he only had 21 working vills out of 50 there for the last, minute and a half. And yeah, there they go. Down they go. Dap says GG, good luck next, and Dio will take the set here 2-1. Looked fairly impressive. Not gonna lie. Player to watch for sure.
Yep, and I mean, I keep saying, given his reputation as a guy who performs well in tournaments, I'm very excited to have him in this one, and I think anybody in his path will be in for a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. We did see him lose Banana, but losing Banana is going gonna be a tough pill to swallow for some people, I think, on this leg of the tournament. So see what happens. That's gonna do it for this set this evening. We are going to move on to another set, but first we're going to update the bracket. Hello, Alakog. Good to see you as well. You guys want to avoid spoilers, wish to follow the tournament, be up to date on YouTube, I will put up the YouTube link for you. But we are going to spoil the results potentially for everyone, so please look away. But we have it here. We have Dio taking the set 2 games to 1. He will move on. We also have Andrew and Paul's games, but I believe we'll be casting those tomorrow. Dio calling you out, Jabari.
I'm looking forward to playing him for sure. I mean, I know that he has some experience versus Geo, who's my good friend. I'll be sure to gather all the intel I need to in order to put up a proper fight. Assuming we both make it to the quarterfinals.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, I wish you both luck.